Hey, it's Nick Jankis, and welcome to Happy Hour Anytime, where we take a moment to celebrate the positive and uplifting stories from the past 7 days, as heard on 95.9 The River's Happy Hour from noon to 1. Now, life can be hard sometimes, and it's important for us to remember that amidst the challenges and difficulties, there are still good things happening all around us. So sit back, relax, and let's take a look at some of the most heartwarming and inspiring stories from the past week. From acts of kindness to groundbreaking achievements, these stories are sure to bring a smile to your face and a sense of hope to your heart. Here's to spreading joy, positivity, and good news. Let's get started. Now, you want to talk about great people. Get a load of 83-year-old Vietnam veteran Paris Davis. He finally got his Medal of Honor last week on Friday. He risked his life over and over again to save other soldiers during a 19-hour firefight back in 1965. Now, he should have gotten the Medal of Honor a lot sooner, but his paperwork got lost. Government work, right? So he resubmitted the paperwork, and it got lost a second time. But finally, after the third try with paperwork issues, Paris Davis finally got his Medal of Honor. Now, the full account of this man's 19 hours is intense. It's something out of a movie. If you got a few minutes, I highly suggest you go to Wikipedia and search for Paris Davis military career, because it is pretty crazy. So do you remember the story last week where a Nebraska cheerleader went to the state championships all by herself after her teammates quit and she got like 8th place or something? Well, now 2 more cheerleaders are making the news. An 8-year-old cheerleader did the exact same thing at a competition down in Florida, but she won the whole dang thing. And in another story, there's a video going viral about a team performing when their music cut out, but the crowd kept the rhythm going with their feet and their hands, and the cheerleaders did not miss a beat. It was really, really cool. Oh, one really quick thing here, too. An 8-year-old out in Arkansas named Kazan Hunter recently found that his favorite waiter at Waffle House was struggling, living in a motel. So this 8-year-old started a GoFundMe page just to help him out. Raised over $100,000 for him. Don't tell me kids these days are selfish. I got story after story proving you otherwise. It's Happy Hour. Nothing but good news between noon and 1 every day. Brought to you by RJ Graham Plumbing. Now, a lot of good news comes from working hard and achieving a goal, so we got to give a shout out to some local basketball teams here in the area. First off, last week, congratulations to the Nazareth Academy girls basketball team. Shout out to the Runners. An 11-point win in the state title game against Lincoln. They bringing home some hardware up to LaGrange Park. And in 4A, great season by the girls basketball team out at Bennett, taking second place, falling in the state championship game to O'Fallon. This weekend coming up is the boys' turn. On Friday, Bennett Academy takes on New Trier in the 4A semifinals. And in the other semifinal, it's Downers Grove North. What a magical run by the Trojans here. They'll take on number 1 seed Moline in the semis. Will be really cool to get an all-West Suburban state championship game on Saturday down at U of I in Class 4A. You can get information about the girls and boys basketball tournaments over at 959theriver.com. It is Happy Hour. Nothing but good news between 4 and 5. Human ingenuity at its finest here. There was a guy in Oregon, got snowed in on a remote road, but didn't have any cell service. But what he did have is a drone. Now, what would you do in that situation? This guy, pretty dang clever. He attached his phone to the drone, typed out a text to his friend, and then flew it high enough until it got service. So then the text went through, and the guy got rescued. So get a load of this. A town out in Massachusetts threw a big surprise party for one of their oldest residents last week. It was really cool. Her name is Hurlda Senhouse. And she turned 112 last Tuesday. Kind of risky for somebody that age, but yes, she did survive the surprise. Also, a woman out in Washington hit the Powerball last month and just came forward to collect. Turns out she works for Boeing and only bought a ticket because the jackpot was $747 million. That same week, Boeing had just delivered its last 747 jumbo jet ever, so she thought it must be a sign. The jackpot grew a little bit after that, though, so she ended up winning actually just under $755 million. Hey, you can't win if you don't play, right? If you got a happy hour story, something good going on in your life, we'd love to know about it. 959theriver.com/happy hour. And before we get into more heartwarming stories, a quick word from our sponsor, RJ Graham Plumbing. They are fully licensed and insured with over 20 years experience. They are locally owned and operated. They have headache-free warranties on parts and labor, so you'll get incredible value from RJ Graham Plumbing. There's no add-on pricing. Warranties are included with every project. With RJ Graham Plumbing, you'll have the confidence that they will stand behind their work, and that is invaluable. The licensed and insured experts at RJ Graham Plumbing start by identifying your problem so they can determine the proper solution, getting you the best results. They're not going to spend time trying to sell you on unnecessary upgrades because your satisfaction is their top priority, because there's no better advertising than happy customers. You can check out all of their 5-star reviews and check out some offers and discounts as well on their website. It's rjgrahamplumbing.com. That's rjgrahamplumbing.com. Now back to spreading some joy and positivity with more good news stories from the past week. It's Happy Hour anytime. Did you hear about this story? It's really cool. A guy in Florida just broke a world record by doing 3,264 push-ups in 1 hour. Pretty impressive, right? Especially since he's 60 years old. Over the year, he did 160,000 push-ups to train for it. There's 3,600 seconds in an hour, by the way, so it's basically a push-up every second for an entire hour. And now I kind of feel a little bad about myself, but good for that guy for breaking that record. If you know of somebody who has accomplished something impressive, even if it's just a random act of kindness, any kind of positivity you've seen in the world, I want to know about it. We want to talk about it here on Happy Hour. Go let me know at 959theriver.com/happy hour. Get a load of this story. It's just the people who are foster parents are doing God's work, man. A guy in South Dakota posted a photo on Reddit after his 6-year-old foster daughter wrote him a note. All it said was, quote, "Please love me." That's all the note said. He wrote her a note back that said, "We will always love you," and put it on her nightstand. And it's just those random acts of kindness, those expressions of love that really catch my eye sometimes. Him and his wife are actually planning to adopt not only her, but her little brother too. So they're going to make them not foster daughters and sons, but actual daughters and sons. They just have to wait a few months to make it official. Also caught this on social media. Shout out to St. Francis High School, by the way. State champs again in the IHSA solo ensemble vocal competition. I know all the football players and basketball players get the spotlight sometimes, but there's others competing out there that aren't necessarily in sports. St. Francis has been dominating this competition, by the way. They have been state champs in Class A 4 years in a row. The singers out at St. Francis High School in Wheaton. Congratulations. It's 95.9 The River's Happy Hour. If you got a good news story for me, I want to know about it. Go to 959theriver.com/happy hour. It's all brought to you by our good buds at RJ Graham Plumbing. Good guys. Have you heard about the brand new Ford Explorer Men's Only Edition? Now, it's not an actual real thing. They posted an ad for it, though, yesterday for International Women's Day. It's narrated by Bryan Cranston. You can check it out on YouTube if you want. It's a fake version of their famous Ford Explorer SUV, but does not include any features invented by women. So this car would have no heater, no turn signals, no brake lights, no rear view mirror, no windshield wipers, and no GPS. The point, obviously, to highlight the advancements in the automotive industry created by women. And speaking of the automotive industry, huge shout out to the girls of the Naperville North Girls Automotive Team. They are, not only is that a real thing, which is awesome, but they are building a truck that they hope can break the truck land speed record, going over 200 miles an hour with this thing. It is a custom built truck with a handmade V8 engine that uses nitrous. The body's got modifications. The brakes obviously have modifications, and it was all done by the girls at Naperville North High School. As a matter of fact, I'm going to reach out to the folks at Naperville North to see if I can talk to some of them and see what they're up to, just get a little behind the scenes story on that. Kids these days building fast trucks. That's awesome. It's 95.9 The River's Happy Hour, brought to you by RJ Graham Plumbing. So not many people would give up $50,000 to help another single individual. There's a guy in New York who did that. He's not even the biggest hero in this story. You got to listen to this to believe it. So a landlord in upstate New York recently sold an apartment building, and this is where the money comes in. He got about $50,000 less than he could have, because he insisted that the next owner of this apartment complex take care of a 93-year-old resident who is a Holocaust survivor. Her name is Alice Schumann. She has lived there for 60 years. She's only paying a couple $100 a month, while everyone else in the building paid about $2,000 a month. So the guy who bought this place agreed to keep her rent the same. But that's only the beginning. The old landlord actually had been taking this woman to the store, to the bank once a month, doctor's appointments and everything. The new landlord took over those duties as well. Talk about going above and beyond, right? But wait, there's more. A few months later, Alice had a medical issue. They actually had to kick down the door to get her to the hospital. At that point, doctors said she could not be on her own anymore. But instead of leaving things up to the state, this new apartment complex owner got a lawyer and actually became Alice's legal guardian, got her into a really nice nursing home. And then he visited her almost every single day for the rest of her life. Sadly, she passed away back in January, but this new apartment complex owner was right there with her, holding her hand every single day. Now, we love random acts of kindness. The little things like opening doors for people and putting away carts in the grocery store parking lot matter. But man, people like this definitely deserve a spotlight. And that's what we do here on Happy Hour every single afternoon between 4 and 5. So a 9/11 first responder, his name is Rob Weisberg. He's about to start a very long walk this weekend. He is hiking the Appalachian Trail. We'll go Appalachian. He's hiking the Appalachian Trail, all 2,200 miles of it. And he's trying to raise $100,000 for the charity called Paws of War. They're the ones who help bring animals back from overseas. His plan is to start in Georgia tomorrow. The finish line is in Maine, and he hopes to be there by September 11th. So 6 months total. If you would like to support this man doing God's work here, you can donate through pawsofwar.com, P-A-W-S, pawsofwar.com. We have more good news. We're going to pack it in here in this 4 o'clock hour. It's all brought to you by RJ Graham Plumbing. It's Happy Hour. You know, it's stories like this that make me feel real bad about myself, but it's Happy Hour, so we're going to tell it. 79-year-old teacher out in Oklahoma. Let me repeat that. 79-year-old teacher. She's been running a 5K every single day since the pandemic started. Now more than 1,000 days in a row. She says she tried it for a week and it just became a habit eventually. 1,000 5Ks since the pandemic started by a 79-year-old teacher in Oklahoma. That's awesome. So here's a great idea, and it's not huge. It's not, putting homeless veterans in a house or anything, but it's still a really cool idea. Listen to this. A nonprofit called Loose Ends just launched last September. And here's the idea. If somebody passes away, like a grandparent, they will take your unfinished knitting project and finish it for you. It's free. All you got to do is pay for shipping. They've only been around for about 6 months and have already had about 1,000 volunteers to help finish a knitting project that somebody who passed away may have started. If you want to get a hold of them for some reason, it's looseendsproject.org. It's Happy Hour. Nothing but good news between 4 and 5 every single day, presented by RJ Graham Plumbing. And that'll do it for Happy Hour anytime. We hope that these stories have brought a smile to your face and a sense of hope to your heart. Remember, no matter what is happening in the world, there's always good news to be found around you. So make it a habit to seek out and share the positive and uplifting stories in your own life and community. And share them with us, too, at 959theriver.com/happy hour or any of our social media platforms at 959theriver. I'll be back next week with more good news stories, so to be sure to subscribe and tune in. You can always listen to Happy Hour live from noon to 1 on 95.9 The River, and on your smart speaker, just tell it to play 95.9 The River. In the meantime, keep spreading joy, positivity, and good news. Have a great week.